Okay, right now I'm going to walk you through a couple examples of evaluating expressions, certainly something you have seen before. In fact, why not? Let's go ahead and give number one a try before I even give you any real instruction here or review. And I think for a lot of us, when we see a problem like this that we haven't done in a long time, we're tempted to just go from left to right. That's how we read, and that's how we like to do things. So natural tendency would be to do the 3 times 6. I'm getting 18. Subtract 2 and multiply by 4. 18 minus 2 gives me 16 times 4. And Justin, you're going to tell me that is 64. Thanks so much. I knew that you would have that mental math down. So just keep that in mind for a second. 64. Now, I want you to think about order of operations, a math topic that you've seen probably last year in Algebra 1, if not the year before. What comes to your mind when you hear order of operations? Because we are asked to use order of operations here. And in fact, we should always be thinking that when we see an expression with more than one operation going on, like we see in both 1 and 2. And most likely you've learned one of two things. You've either learned the acronym Pemdas, or you might have a phrase that goes with that. I learned please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, using the first letter of each one of our keywords having to do with our math operations. Okay. Now going through that, I'm going to go ahead and just, not do that. I'm going to go ahead and move this down so we're not looking at that. And let's follow our order of operations and let's see what we end up getting. So the P stands for parentheses, E stands for, you got it, exponents. And I'm skipping both of those because in number 1 I don't have parentheses or exponents. I do have multiplication when I get to the M, multiplication. So any multiplication I'm going to go ahead and do. I've got 3 times 6, that's giving me 18. And I have 2 times 4, and that's giving me 8. It tells me I have to do my multiplication, any multiplication, and the whole problem. Minus sign in the middle, we're just going to go ahead and carry that down. And now I have 18 minus 8, and that's the only operation left. So at this point, I'm all the way down here at subtraction, and I'm going to go ahead and do the subtraction, getting an answer of 10. Clearly different than the first answer that I got by going from left to right, and that what I'm guessing a lot of you would be tempted to do just when you haven't been practicing this. So, no good, don't go left to right, follow your order of operations. 10 is the correct answer for this problem. Second one looks a little more intimidating. Don't be intimidated, let's take it one thing at a time. So first I'm going to start with parentheses. I do have parentheses here, so I'm going to go ahead and do in my parentheses 5 minus 4, and I'm getting a 1. Okay, so parentheses done. I'm not going to rewrite the whole thing. I'm just going to go ahead and say I got a 1 right there. Exponents. Didn't have an exponent in the first one. Exponent, I've got 4 to the 3rd power that I'm looking at right here at the beginning. Okay, we're used to seeing second power, where what we call squaring something, where we multiply it by itself. What's 4 to the 3rd power mean? If you were thinking multiply 4 by itself 3 times, you're correct. So we're really thinking 4 times 4 times 4. If you need to grab a calculator, you can on your Smart or your TI-84 calculator. If you have that one, you can, should let me go over a little bit. I think you can see it here. You can go ahead and hit the 4, use the little up arrow. It's right below the clear button. And then it'll allow you to type in a power, and it actually reads as 4 to the 3rd. Hit enter, should be the same thing as if we typed 4 times 4 times 4. It is 64. So I do get a 64 right here then for my 4 cubed. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite what I have in number 2. I do have a 64 at the beginning minus 1 plus 4 minus the 1 that I got from my parentheses all over 2. And I've now done parentheses and exponents. Working through the rest of it. Multiplication and division, please be careful. Those two do go together. And this can be a little misleading because you think you have to do the multiplication then the division. Do them together. Addition and subtraction do together, working left to right throughout the problem. Okay? Be careful. One other thing that I want to point out with this one is that the fraction bar is representing which one of my operations, the 4 operations that I have left. Think about that for a minute. Division was the correct answer. So if you were thinking division, that is my fraction bar right there. I do have division. It doesn't appear that I have any multiplication in there. So I do have to do the division. But I can't do division yet because I have an automatic parentheses. Again, a little bit tricky here. I have an automatic parentheses in the numerator because I have to have a value there that I can then divide by 2. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and evaluate 1 plus 4 minus 1 in the numerator there. And I'm getting 5 minus 1, 4 over 2, or 4 divided by 2, with a 64 in the front. We're subtracting 4 divided by 2. So I'm going to get a 2 when I actually do my division. No multiplication, skipping that one. 64 minus 2, do any addition, subtraction at this point. It's just my subtraction, 62 for my final answer. You don't have to write out that many steps. I'd recommend you write out a few steps as you work through these. Don't try to cut corners and just put down your final answer. You're going to miss steps along the way. Okay? Good luck. Go ahead and try some of those, and then watch the next video.